The space dock was quiet in a way that felt wrong. Lights glowed white along the metal floor, stretching into the dock like a long empty road. Cargo ships had already left. The last shuttle had departed minutes ago. Only cleaning drones moved, slow and silent, their soft hum echoing through the wide station. The man walked alone. His name did not matter to anyone here. He was just a worker, a human cargo engineer who fixed doors, checked seals, and made sure ships did not fall apart in space. He had worked this dock for years. Too many years. Long enough to stop talking to people. Long enough to forget what it felt like to be noticed. He was finishing his shift. Another long day. Another quiet end. Then he saw her. She sat near Dock Gate 7, where foreign ships usually arrived. Her back was against a metal pillar. Her hands rested on her lap. She did not move when the lights dimmed for night cycle. At first, he thought she was cargo. Then he saw the veil. It was thin, silver, and torn at the edges. It covered part of her face, glowing faintly under the dock lights. Beneath it, her skin shimmered with a soft blue tone. Not human. Definitely not human. He slowed his steps. Alien visitors were not rare. But alien women dressed like that were. She wore ceremonial clothing. Long robes made of layered fabric, once bright, now dull with dust. Around her neck was a broken band of crystal metal, cracked straight through the center. A bridal band. The man stopped a few meters away. "Hey," he said softly. No response. He took another step closer. The dock was cold. Air circulation low. This area was not meant for people to stay long. "Miss?" He tried again. The woman lifted her head. Her eyes were large and dark, with faint lines of light running from the corners down her cheeks. Her face showed age, not weakness, but time. Fine marks, small scars. The face of someone who had lived, not been protected. She looked at him like someone waking from a long, heavy sleep. "You are late," she said. Her voice was calm, but tired, very tired. "Late for what?" the man asked. She did not answer. Her gaze moved past him, toward the empty dock gate. He followed her eyes. There was nothing there. No ship, no crew, no guards, only a blinking terminal. The man turned and walked toward it. The screen was still active, glowing pale blue. He did not need permission. His worker badge gave him access. One line stood out on the screen. Marriage transfer. Failed. Below it, smaller text scrolled slowly. Reason for rejection. Bride deemed unsuitable. Status. Abandoned. Return transport. None scheduled. The man felt his chest tighten. He read further. Age classification. Excessive. Value assessment. Declining. Liability risk. High. He looked back at the woman. She was watching him now. Not angry. Not scared. Just waiting. "Is this about you?" he asked. She nodded once. "They left you here," he said. "Yes." "That's it? Just left?" "Yes." The man stared at the screen again. The word abandoned stayed in his mind. "Do you have somewhere to go?" he asked. "No," she said. "Family? Embassy? Anyone?" She shook her head slowly. "I was sent here to be given," she said, "not to return." The man did not understand alien cultures well, but he understood that sentence. "You were a bride," he said. "I was an option," she corrected. He noticed her hands were shaking slightly. Not from fear, from cold. He took off his jacket and held it out. She hesitated. "It is acceptable," he said. "Just warmth." After a moment, she took it. Her fingers brushed his. They were colder than metal. "Thank you," she said. They stood in silence for a few seconds. The dock lights dimmed further. Night cycle warning chimed once. "You can't stay here," the man said. "This area locks down." "I know," she said. "Then you'll freeze." "Yes." He swallowed. "What happens if you go back?" he asked. She looked down. "I will be erased," she said simply. He waited for more words. None came. The man rubbed his face. He had fixed broken ships. He had seen accidents. But this felt worse. This was not damage. This was choice. "Why were you rejected?" he asked. She looked at him then, really looked at him. Because I am old, she said. He frowned. You don't look old. In my kind, she said, I have passed my highest value cycle. How old are you? He asked. She hesitated, then answered, by human count, 48. The man let out a short, sharp breath. That's not old, he said. She tilted her head. To humans, perhaps not. He looked again at her face. The lines, the calm strength in her eyes. You were dressed like this, he said slowly, because someone was supposed to marry you. Yes. And they saw you, he said, and changed their mind. Yes. And no one thought to send you back. No, she said. The silence that followed felt heavy. The man noticed something then. Under the torn robe, near her collarbone, a small symbol flickered. Hidden, faint, almost dead. A royal mark. His eyes widened. That symbol, he said carefully. What is it? Her hand moved instinctively to cover it. It no longer matters, she said. But it did matter. He had seen it once before, on a broadcast. Long ago. A symbol used only by high-ranking alien houses. Why would someone like you be left like this? He asked. Her lips pressed together. Because I know too much, she said. And because I am no longer useful. The dock alarms chimed again. Lockdown in 3 minutes. The man made a decision. Not a smart one. Not a planned one. Just a human one. Come with me, he said. Where? She asked. My quarters, he said. They are small, but warm. She looked at him with confusion. Why? He did not answer right away. Because you are alone, he thought. Because I am alone. Because this feels wrong. You shouldn't be left like this, he said instead. She studied his face, searching for something. What if helping me causes you trouble? She asked. He shrugged. Trouble already found me, he said. The final alarm sounded. She stood slowly, leaning on the pillar for support. As they walked away together, the terminal behind them updated one last time. Status, bride unclaimed. Notice, file locked. Neither of them saw it. But somewhere, far beyond the dock, systems had begun to notice. And the galaxy had just taken its first quiet breath before a storm. The corridor lights dimmed as they walked. The space station had entered night cycle. Most workers had left. Shops were closed. Only emergency lights and low hums filled the long metal halls. The man walked slightly ahead, slowing his steps so the alien woman could keep pace. She moved carefully. Each step looked measured, like she was used to standing tall, not walking tired hallways alone. This way, he said. She followed without question. His quarters were small. One room, one bed, a narrow table, a window that showed nothing but stars and slow-moving cargo traffic. It was not a place made for guests. Or for stories like hers. He opened the door. Please, he said, stepping aside. She paused at the entrance. This is yours, she asked. Yes. It is quiet. He gave a short smile. That's one word for it. Inside, the air was warmer. She let out a slow breath she did not know she was holding. Her shoulders relaxed just a little. He turned on the lights. She reached up and slowly removed the torn veil from her face. Now he saw her clearly. Her skin shimmered softly, marked with faint lines that glowed when she moved. Her eyes reflected light like deep water. There was beauty there, but not the kind made for display. It was a beauty of endurance. You may sit, he said, pulling out the only chair. She sat, folding her hands in her lap again. He moved to a small heating unit and adjusted it. You're freezing, he said. In space, she replied, cold is patient. He nodded. That made sense. He handed her a cup of warm water from the dispenser. She took it with both hands. For what it is worth, he said, I'm sorry. She looked up. For what? For what they did. She considered his words carefully. In my culture, she said, apologies are given only when guilt exists. And does guilt exist here? He asked. She looked down into the cup. Yes, she said, but not in those who should carry it. Silence filled the room again. After a moment, he asked, What happens to brides like you? The ones who are rejected. She did not answer right away. They disappear, she said finally. Disappear how? Quietly, she replied. Their records are sealed. Their names are removed. Their voices are no longer required. That's not a life, he said. No, she agreed. It is a correction. He felt anger rise in his chest. Not loud anger. Cold anger. You were treated like a mistake, he said. She met his eyes. I was treated like an object that lost value. He shook his head slowly. What is your name? He asked. She hesitated. It is no longer spoken. I'd like to speak it, he said. She studied him, as if deciding whether that mattered. Call me Ceres, she said. Is that your real name? He asked. It was, she replied. He nodded. Then it still is. Her fingers tightened slightly around the cup. Why were you chosen as a bride in the first place? He asked. She leaned back, eyes drifting toward the small window. Because I was useful, she said. I negotiated treaties. I ended wars before they began. I knew how humans think, how they feel. And that made you valuable, he said. Yes, she said. Once. And now? Now I am inconvenient, she said. I remember too much. I question too much. I age. He frowned. So they dressed you up, he said, sent you to be married off, and hoped you would disappear. Yes. And when you didn't fit what they wanted, he said, they left you behind. Yes. He clenched his jaw. You deserve better, he said. She looked at him with confusion. Why do you say that? She asked. Because no one deserved to be thrown away, he said. She was quiet for a long time. Then she asked, Why are you alone? The question surprised him. He laughed softly. Guess it's my tone. She waited. I worked, he said. Then I worked more. People moved on. I stayed. One day I realized no one was waiting for me anymore. She nodded slowly. In my world, she said, loneliness is considered weakness. In mine, he said, it's just life sometimes. She looked thoughtful. There is something you should know, she said. He turned serious. That symbol you saw, she continued, touching the faint glow beneath the skin. It marks me as property of a royal house. Even now. Even after what they did, he asked. Yes, she said. They abandoned me, but they did not release me. That doesn't sound legal, he said. It is, she replied, to them. He stood and walked to his terminal. Human law doesn't work like that, he said, pulling up a screen. What are you doing? She asked. Checking something, he said. The terminal beeped softly as files loaded. Interstellar marriage statutes, he muttered. Her eyes widened slightly. You are not serious, she said. He scanned the screen, his brow furrowing. Oh, he said. What? She asked. It says here, he replied slowly, that a marriage contract becomes valid if both parties give consent. Species does not matter. She stood up. That is impossible, she said. Humans do not. We do, he said, turning to face her. At least on paper. She looked at him like he had spoken a dangerous idea aloud. You barely know me, she said. I know you were left to freeze, he replied. I know you were cold old at 48, and I know you deserve to be seen. Her voice lowered. If you bind yourself to me, she said, you may draw the attention of an empire. He met her gaze. I've lived invisible my whole life, he said. Being seen doesn't scare me. She searched his face, looking for doubt. She found none. Outside the small window, stars drifted by slowly. Somewhere far away, sealed files stirred, and a rejected bride, once unwanted, was no longer alone. The terminal light filled the room with a soft blue glow. Lines of text moved slowly across the screen. Legal language, cold words, rules written by people who never imagined a moment like this. The man stood still, reading carefully. Ceres watched him from a short distance. Her hands were folded again, but her fingers were tense. She did not interrupt. She had learned long ago that important decisions were never rushed. Interstellar Marriage Accord. The man read aloud. Section 12. He scrolled. Consent of both parties, he continued. No restriction on species. No age limitation listed. He paused. That's strange, he said quietly. Ceres tilted her head. Strange in what way? They cared enough to control everything, he said, but not enough to close this. She took a slow breath. You do not understand, she said. In my world, marriage is not chosen. It is assigned. Then this law is different, he replied. This one says choice matters. She stepped closer to the screen. What happens if it is activated? She asked. He swallowed. It becomes binding, he said, across recognized systems. Her eyes widened slightly. You would be tying yourself to me, she said. Legally. Permanently. He nodded. You will become a target, she said. They will not ignore it. I know, he replied. Silence returned, thick and heavy. Ceres turned away and walked to the window. Stars drifted past, slow and endless. She had seen them all her life, but never like this. Not from a place where no one expected anything from her. I was trained to be useful, she said softly. Not loved. He did not answer right away. I don't know how to be useful, he said finally. I only know how to fix broken things. She looked back at him. I am not broken, she said. No, he agreed. You were broken away from. She studied his face, the lines of exhaustion, the quiet honesty, the lack of hunger for control. Why are you really doing this? She asked. He thought for a moment. Because I saw you sitting there, he said, and the system said you had no value left. He clenched his fist, and the system was wrong. Her voice lowered. You could walk away. So could you, he replied. I cannot, she said. If I leave without protection, they will reclaim me. Then stay, he said. With you? She asked. With me? He confirmed. She hesitated. You would gain nothing, she said. He smiled faintly. That's not true. What would you gain? She asked. A reason, he said. She looked confused. To wake up, he continued. To stop feeling like I'm just waiting for days to end. She searched his eyes again. This time, she saw something new. Hope. Fragile. Untrained. Real. If we do this, she said slowly, there's no undo. I know, he replied. And if the Empire comes, she asked. Then they come, he said. Ceres turned back to the terminal. Show me, she said. Exactly what it requires. He nodded and tapped the screen. Holographic consent imprint, he said. Voice confirmation. She raised an eyebrow. That is all. That's all, he confirmed. She laughed quietly. It was a strange sound, like someone remembering how. My people would require witnesses, she said. Ceremonies. Power displays. Humans like paperwork, he said. She stepped closer to the terminal. The blue light reflected off her skin, making the faint royal mark glow again. Before this, she said, you should know the truth. He looked at her. Go on. I was not only a strategist, she said. I was once considered for rule. His breath caught. They removed me, she continued, not because of age, but because I refused to approve a cleansing war. He felt anger rise again. You chose lies over power, he said. Yes, she replied, and paid for it. He nodded once. Then I'm glad they did, he said. She looked at him sharply. Why? Because otherwise, he said, you wouldn't be here. They stood facing each other now, close enough to feel warmth. Say the word, he said, and I won't touch the terminal. She closed her eyes. For a moment, she was back in holes of stone and light, back among voices that judged her work by numbers and cycles. Then she opened her eyes. I consent, she said. The terminal chimed. Voice confirmation accepted. The system announced. The man took a breath. I consent, he said. The screen flashed. Marriage contract. Active. Status. Recognized. A soft tone filled the room. Ceres stared at the words. "It is done," she whispered. He nodded. "It's done." The room felt different. Not brighter, not warmer, just steady. Outside the station, a data pulse moved faster than light. Across systems, alerts triggered quietly. And somewhere, deep inside a sealed archive, a file unlocked itself. For the first time in a long while, Ceres did not feel owned. She felt chosen. The alert reached the station before morning cycle. It arrived without sound, without warning. Just a quiet shift in the systems that control traffic, law, and attention. The man noticed first. His terminal flickered while he was making a simple meal. Lines of code scrolled too fast. Access icons changed color. "That's odd," he said. Ceres looked up from the window. "What is?" she asked. "Station priority just changed," he replied. "We're suddenly important." She did not look surprised. "They have noticed," she said. "Who?" he asked, though he already knew. "My people," she answered, "and perhaps more." The station lights dimmed, then brightened again. A low tone echoed through the corridors. "Incoming delegation. Clear Dock 7. The man felt his stomach tighten. "That was fast," he said. "Yes," Ceres replied. "They do not like loose ends." Minutes later, the station shook slightly as a large alien vessel docked. It was sleek and sharp-edged, its surface dark and reflective. No trade markings. No civilian tags. This was not a visit. Security drones moved into position. Human staff whispered in corners. Doors locked where they should not have. The man and Ceres stood together in the corridor outside his quarters. "You can still leave," he said quietly. "Hide. I'll tell them you were never here." She shook her head. "I will not run again," she said. "Not now." Footsteps echoed. 3 alien officials approached, tall and pale, their uniforms marked with authority symbols. Behind them floated a recording drone, its lens fixed on Ceres. The lead official stopped a few steps away. "Ceres of the High Line," he said. "You are requested to return." "I am married," she replied calmly. The official's eyes shifted to the man. "That is not recognized," he said. The man stepped forward. "It is under interstellar law," he said. "You don't get to decide that." The official's mouth tightened. "This union was not approved," he said. "Approval is not required," the man replied, holding up his terminal. "Consent is." The drone's lens adjusted. Recording intensified. The official glanced at his own datapad. "There's been an error," he said. "The contract should not have activated." "But it did," the man said. "That's not my fault." Ceres lifted her chin. "You abandoned me," she said. "You forfeited your claim." Murmurs passed among the officials. "Your status was provisional," the lead official said. "Your age reduced your—" "Stop," Ceres said. Her voice was calm, but it carried weight. "You measured my worth by years," she continued. "You measured my obedience by silence. And when I refused to disappear quietly, you left me to die." The corridor was silent. Human security officers had gathered at a distance, watching, listening. "This human has interfered," the official said. "The marriage will be annulled." The man laughed once. Short, sharp. "No," he said. "That's not how this works." He turned his terminal outward, projecting the contract into the air. The words glowed bright and clear. "Marriage status. Active. Jurisdiction. Multisystem. You don't outrank the law," he said. The official stared at the projection. Then he smiled. "You believe law protects you," he said. "You are mistaken." Ceres stepped closer to the man. "If you attempt to take me," she said, "you will violate human space." "That would be unfortunate," the official replied. Before he could say more, another voice cut in. "Dock 7 delegation," a human station commander said, stepping forward. "State your purpose." The alien official turned. "We are retrieving property," he said. The commander's eyes hardened. "Humans don't recognize people as property," she replied. "And that woman is a registered civilian spouse under our law." The official paused. Behind him, the drone beeped. Data streams updated. Something was happening beyond the station. across networks, across systems. News spread fast that human marriage rejected alien bride. Interstellar law tested. Empire challenged by consent. The official received a private update. His expression changed. Your marriage has drawn attention, he said slowly. Good. The man replied. Ceres looked at him, surprised. They need to see it, he said quietly. What they did. The official took a step back. This is not finished, he said. You will regret this decision. Ceres met his gaze. I regretted obeying you, she said. Not this. The delegation turned and retreated, their movement sharp and controlled. The drone followed, still recording. The corridor slowly filled with sound again. Breathing, whispering, life. The man let out a long breath he did not know he was holding. You okay? He asked. Ceres nodded. For the first time, she said, I was not spoken for. He smiled faintly. That's kind of our thing now, he said. But far away, in halls of power and old pride, screens glowed with the same image. A rejected bride, a human husband, and a marriage that refused to stay quiet. The message arrived 3 hours later. Not as a threat, not as a demand, as a summons. Every public screen on the station shifted at once. Cargo displays faded. Advertisements vanished. In their place appeared a single symbol, ancient, geometric, and unmistakable. Ceres froze. The color drained from her face. That mark, the man said quietly. It's yours. She nodded. Not anymore, she whispered. But they will pretend it still is. The station commander's voice echoed through the halls. All non-essential personnel, clear common areas. This station is now under interstellar broadcast. The man felt a chill. They are making this public, he said. Yes, Ceres replied, which means they are afraid. The screen brightened. A vast alien chamber appeared, tall pillars, cold light, and a circular platform surrounded by figures in layered robes. The Imperial Council. At the center, a single empty throne waited. The man noticed something strange. It was her size. A voice spoke, deep and controlled. Ceres of the High Line, it said, step forward. Ceres straightened her back. She did not move toward the screen. I stand where I choose, she said. A ripple passed through the chamber. The voice paused. You have violated protocol. It continued. You have entered an unauthorized union. You have embarrassed the Empire. Ceres lifted her chin. You embarrass yourselves, she said. You left me to die. Silence fell. Then another voice spoke, sharp and familiar. She is obsolete. Ceres closed her eyes for a brief moment. That is Counselor Veth, she said softly. He signed my dismissal. The man felt anger rise again. The counselor stepped into view. Your age diminished your influence, Veth said. Your hesitation weakened our position. I stopped a war, Ceres replied. One that would have killed billions. You delayed victory, Veth snapped. Victory over what? She asked. Innocence. The chamber stirred. The man stepped closer to the screen. You abandoned her, he said. You don't get to judge her choices now. Several council members turned toward him, startled. A human speaks, Veth said with amusement. A human husband, the man replied, legally recognized. A new data stream appeared beside the broadcast. Confirmed, royal bloodline identified. The chamber erupted. Voices overlapped. Systems timed. Ceres gasped softly. They unlocked my lineage, she whispered. The man stared at the screen. What does that mean? He asked. She swallowed. It means, she said, they can no longer pretend I was nothing. The main voice returned, slower now. Ceres, it said, you were not abandoned because of age. She laughed. It was bitter. I know, she said. You were removed, the voice continued, because you threatened tradition. The counselor Veth stepped back. You taught restraint, he hissed. You taught empathy. Those ideas spread. Ceres looked directly at the camera. Yes, she said. They did. The man realized then, this was never about marriage. It was about fear. The broadcast shifted again. Historical footage appeared. Ceres younger, standing before fleets, negotiating ceasefires, ending conflicts without firing a shot. Gasps filled the chamber. Human observers across multiple systems watched in silence. The truth was clear now. She was not rejected, the man said quietly. She was erased on purpose. The council could not deny it. The voice softened. You were once considered for rule, it admitted. The man's heart pounded. You would have been fair, the voice said, and fairness is disruptive. Ceres closed her eyes. For years, she said, I believed my value was gone. She opened them again, but a human saw me freezing on a dock and treated me like a person. The screen shook slightly. You cannot keep her, Veth said. She belongs to us. Ceres stepped forward. For the first time since the broadcast began, the faint mark beneath her skin blazed bright. Not weak, not broken, royal. I belong to myself, she said. The council fell silent. The man reached for her hand. Somewhere deep in the Empire's core systems, alarms began to sound, because the bride they threw away was not just unwanted. She was a queen they feared. The silence after Ceres' words was heavy. Across dozens of systems, screens remained fixed on her glowing mark. Royal, undeniable, no longer hidden. The Imperial Council did not speak. Instead, fleets moved. Human senses detected it first. Ships shifting from patrol lines. Weapons powering up, but not firing. A threat without a strike. The man felt it in his chest. They are testing us, he said. Ceres nodded. They want fear to decide. The human station commander's voice cut through the tension. All human jurisdictions, she said, prepare defensive posture. No engagement unless attacked. No panic. No shouting. Just readiness. The broadcast expanded. A second chamber appeared beside the Imperial one. Simpler, less decoration. Human design. The Human Interstellar Council. A human representative leaned forward. We recognize the marriage, she said. We recognize Ceres as a free civilian under human protection. The Imperial Councilor Veth hissed. She is royal property, he said. The human replied calmly. Humans do not accept ownership of people. Ceres felt something unfamiliar tighten in her chest. Support, not because of her bloodline, but because of her choice. You shelter her, the Imperial voice said, and you invite conflict. The human representative nodded. If protecting consent invites conflict, she said, then so be it. The man squeezed Ceres' hand. Across the broadcast, data streams raced. Calculations, probabilities, costs. The Empire hesitated. Ceres spoke again. I will not return, she said. Not as a queen, not as a tool. Veth slammed his clawed hand on the platform. You owe us, he shouted. Ceres met his rage with calm. I gave you peace, she said. You wanted conquest. The chamber fell quiet. Human analysts shared projections openly. Engagement risk, high. Public backlash, extreme. Moral standing, negative. The Empire's advantage faded with every second. This was not a battle they could win without losing something greater. Reputation, legitimacy, control. The Imperial voice returned, colder now. You would abandon your throne, it said to Ceres. She did not hesitate. Yes, she said. The man looked at her. No regrets, he asked softly. She shook her head. For the first time, she said, I am choosing my life. The Imperial Council conferred in silence. Then, slowly, fleets powered down. Weapons went dark. A message appeared. Imperial claim, withdrawn. Status, non-intervention. Gasps echoed across human channels. The Empire had stepped back. Veth stared at the screen in disbelief. You will be forgotten, he spat. Ceres smiled gently. I already was, she said. And I survived. The broadcast ended. Screens returned to normal. The station exhaled. The man leaned against the wall, suddenly exhausted. Guess that's it, he said. Ceres looked at him, eyes bright. No, she said. That was only them letting go. Outside, Human ships resumed patrol. Inside, something quieter settled. Freedom. But far away, in the shadows of old power, resentment burned. And the galaxy watched closely. Because humans had said no, and meant it. The war never came. Days passed. Then weeks. No fleets returned. No threats followed. The Empire kept its distance, choosing silence over shame. The station slowly returned to normal. For the man and Ceres, everything changed. They left the dock not in secret, but openly. Human officials processed the final papers. Civilian status. Protected residence. A new life, written in simple lines of law. No titles. No ranks. Just names. They traveled far from the main trade routes to a quiet world with blue skies and long fields. A place most maps forgot to label. The air was warm. The nights were calm. Their home was small. One level. Simple walls. A wide window facing the sunrise. No guards. No screens watching every move. The man fixed things. Doors that stuck. Solar panels that needed cleaning. He worked with his hands, the way he always had. But now, when he came inside, someone was waiting. Ceres learned slowly. Human customs were strange to her. Neighbors waved. Children asked questions. No one bowed. No one demanded anything from her. At first, she waited for judgment. It never came. She removed the last piece of royal metal from her skin one quiet morning. It did not hurt. When it fell away, the glow faded for good. She looked in the mirror afterward. For the first time, she saw herself without weight. "You okay?" the man asked. She smiled. "I feel light," she said. They shared meals at a small table. Simple food. Simple talk. Long silences that did not hurt. At night, they watched stars through the window. "Do you miss it?" he asked once. "The power, the influence." She thought for a long moment. "No," she said. "I miss being useful, but not being owned." "You're useful here," he said. "You help me remember to live." She reached for his hand. "And you," she said, "taught me that age is not loss. It is memory." News from the wider galaxy still arrived sometimes. Other worlds began to question old laws. Other brides refused silent endings. Other systems spoke the word consent aloud for the first time. The Empire did not apologize, but it changed. A little. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Ceres stood outside, watching light move across the fields. "I was left behind," she said softly, "and it saved me." The man stood beside her. "I went my whole life unseen," he said. "Then I saw you." They did not need more words. Far away, stars continued their endless motion. Empires rose and fell. Laws shifted. But on a quiet world, a rejected bride and a lonely man built something stronger than power. A home. And the galaxy learned something simple that day. Humans do not marry value. They marry choice. They marry hearts.